Yeah, so welcome to Morehouse Metrology Matters. I'm joined by my good friend Dilip Shah, and we're just here having a discussion about quality and good measurement practice. As I hit the record button, I was reaffirming with Dilip that we should record it in English, and he said he'd be in trouble if not. So,
Yeah, it's interesting because English is my second language, but it's the best language I can speak. So I guess it becomes the first language then. Yeah.
well, yeah, for those that, yeah, you've autographed my 9 degrees of Dilip Shah. You know, if you go to NCSLI or one of the other shows that Dilip's at, we have a little pamphlet that we hand out called the 9 degrees of Dilip Shah, which they have. It's talking about good measurement practice. They have a lot of good measurement practice techniques and jokes on them too, right?
Yeah,
Single measurement bliss.
and somebody was actually asking about the T-shirt with the degrees of freedom, and also the
Yeah.
poster recently. I was having actually a conversation at the recent NCSLI conference with somebody. I don't remember who, but yeah, so there's a lot of different things when it comes to uh, I call measurement quality. Yeah, so we can talk about quality and measurement practices, but then there's a lot of other things quality related that goes in measurements.
So many because
Yeah,
AI is the buzz. Like you can throw it in AI, but AI gets it wrong a lot now.
yeah. So AI, yeah. So let's talk about AI and quality first,
Yeah, that's
because
good.
AI is the most current buzzword. Everybody is pretty hyped about AI,
I love it. I
and
absolutely love it.
I mean AI could be really great or it could be really lousy in the sense. And I was talking to one of the my clients recently. I was visiting them, and they said, "Yeah, AI is only as good as the information it has available to it." Okay,
Hmm.
so if it's just like the human brain and different people. Everybody has different, knowledge base in their head. And so it's just like if you were chatting with me, I would have different knowledge base and experience that I have. And that's what I would narrate my views on that. And then you would have a different, knowledge base and experience.
Sure. And we
And
may
AI,
remember some things,
yeah, and
or
AI
we
is
may
a
not.
collective of all those knowledge base and experience
Right.
that
Right. Yeah. And right
different,
now it's just
yeah,
a tool, right? A large language model.
yeah,
It can read documents faster than you and I can. It can scan them
mhm,
quickly. And if you have a bunch of data that's stored properly, and the big thing is stored properly, you can go retrieve some stuff from that data that would take, a human person just several Excel sheets, copying, pasting, a lot of time to go through
yeah,
and extract all of that data. And that's where AI can be really good. Though in my
yeah,
experience, it can also be very bad because it can pull the wrong thing. So writing the right routine and prompting it, it's only as good as the user at the keyboard saying, "Hey, no, go do this," because it
yeah,
has spit out to me stuff like we talk about metrology and for this is wrong. Like just from years of doing it, it's wrong. You say, "Hey, that's wrong." Oh, sorry about that. If you've used AI, it will say, "Oh yeah, sorry about that. We got it wrong," and then it'll go do it. So
yeah. So
yeah,
it's like if it gives you the wrong information right now, you still have to decide the information it's given you is right or wrong.
right.
And the general, fear is people are going to take that information and believe it as true, and then implement in whatever decisions they're making. And that's where the danger is now. Now,
Yep.
somewhere down, people are predicting that in 5 years' time, we will have reached singularity. And that's when, hopefully, AI will have all the information and ability to sort through that very fast and come up with the right decision. And when I say right, I want to say quote unquote right, because it's still the problem is who controls the AI. And if I was a party that wanted my side of information to be, dispersed, then it's going to tell me my side of the information and the facts based on what
Right.
information I've fed to that.
It's going to skew your argument, and you can
Yeah,
program it to skew it. And to your point, I mean, if people out there want to read a book, the singularity is near, but you don't want to read that one now. You want to read the singularity is nearer,
yeah,
which is the sequel by Ray Kurzweil. Um,
yeah,
but that is a really good book, and I've read Super Intelligence is another one that discusses AI. And there's a lot, like you and I, there's great things that can come from AI, great things in metrology that can
mhm,
come from AI. Just alone, because some of the stuff people don't know how to do. Like I said a year ago, Dilip, I was talking, I think, with you and the OSHA stuff. Now I wouldn't. We have OSHA manuals, we have everything else, and I fed everything into AI and it said, where are we weak? And it basically said, here's some of the things in the codes that you're weak on. And that is a great use of AI to me,
yeah,
because we have documented practices. We want to be OSHA compliant. We want everything that we possibly can do for the safety of our people, but we don't know what we don't know. And somebody coming in that would come in and do a cursory, might say, hang some signs up here, do this, do that, but they're not going to scan absolutely everything
yeah,
in all their documentation and pick up on some of the little nuances. So
yeah.
it basically said we were missing, not missing, but it says we're weak in these areas. You may want to beef these up or have more clarity. And I'm like, that's fantastic use of AI.
And that's a great example because there you already have a set of rules, the
Yep.
OSHA.
Yep.
So there is no gray areas in there. It says these are the rules, and
Hmm.
but there are manuals and I don't know, a bunch of stuff that you are never going to assimilate and
No.
find out what things you're weak at and what you're not. And there it's really good because the knowledge there is what I call finite until the OSHA rules change. And
Right.
then if fit in those new rules, then again it's gonna go through that and do a good job.
Well, I mean, just look
Uh,
at it. OSHA compliance and general industry
yeah,
manual, 860 pages. Right? OSHA
yeah,
construction safety handbook. That's not us, but 320 pages. Safety training
yeah,
handbook, 272 pages. That's a lot. I mean, people should read what applies to them, but we're not going to go read. I mean, you need an expert at some point, right?
yeah,
And this is, like I said, quality systems are the same way. If you have a checklist, you can say, hey, scan my quality manual against his checklist for anything
yes.
I may have missed, right? Dilip might come in. We talked about internal audit on the first pod. You may come in, but you may miss something. Doubtful anymore because you've done it for so many years, but
Well, an audit is a sampling process,
yeah, right,
so and you have a finite amount of time doing that audit.
right.
So you're gonna, pick up the points that you think are relevant to sample, and you may not. And this is where AI is gonna do a very thorough job of it. It says, okay, here's your documented process, and you meet these requirements well.
Hmm.
These you don't, and these you have to work on because there's ambiguity in it.
Yep.
And so, from that perspective, AI is very good. The gray areas are more like subjective thinking.
Decision rules, risk. AI is
Yeah,
not, AI can do a good job with risk depending, but it doesn't have your whole organization mapped.
yeah,
So for us, we have level 10 meetings, which is a weekly meeting. There's standing meetings 3 times a week with managers. AI is not capturing all that. Now, there are some people that have all those notes captured and everything else, but that's,
yeah,
um, you can do it. It's just whether it's worth your time and effort to, we're having a standing meeting talking to people and saying, what do we need to get done today? Do we want to capture all that or we just want to go have the standing meeting and go do it?
yeah.
So anyway,
And
yeah.
I just kind of had some notes that I had made up back. There was, we had the NCSLI conference um,
In your
2 weeks
backyard,
ago,
Cleveland, and in your
and yeah, we had
Dilip's hometown, not hometown, but
quite a few
Ohio.
discussions on AI. So
There was a lot.
I
Yep.
wanted to like quote a couple of quotations, and they may apply to AI. I think they do apply. And this is a quote from Albert Einstein, my hero.
Wait, I thought
And
Schuhart was your hero for
Short
the.
was my hero, is my hero too. But I've got
Okay.
several superheroes, so it says imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world. I think this is very important when we think about AI. So AI is going to have all the knowledge that we feed into it,
Yep.
but is it going to have the imagination?
No.
And so that's important. And I think a lot of the discoveries that have happened is because of imagination. Okay. So that's something you have to think about. Now, having said that, read a recent article on the information they feed into AI, and it came up with some fantastic combination of medications.
Oh, I use it all the time for these things. Like,
Yeah.
so AI to me, like non-metrology world, I have my preferences. Right now, it's ChatGPT. I have Claude. I have experience with Copilot. Like I said, the Google LM is one that I've played with a bit. The just trying to go off the top of my head for all of them that I use. Grok, use that. Gemini is Google's used it, but
Hmm.
anyway, the Chat GPT in general. So I was on a FODMAP diet, which basically you only eat certain foods because you're having some intestinal distress or
Hmm.
whatever you want to call it. The solution was, which I'm happy I'm off of that diet now, was to go on a FODMAP diet, and you start scanning labels. It's like, I don't know what's has stuff or not. And I scanned oatmeal at the store and I was like, is this FODMAP safe? It was like, it was 3 oatmeals until I got one. Now, would you have thought that just oatmeal would be fine for FODMAP? I would have assumed it was, but it could scan all and it would say, this is what's
Yeah.
in this particular, and I'm not talking about ones with fruits and all that stuff. I'm just talking about regular oatmeal. Um, and it said no, this has this in it, which is not FODMAP approved and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it was just one example of several. I do it all the time. Like the dog has a weird bite on it. I take a image and said, does this look weird? It's not a substitute for a doctor, but it can get you there. In fact, our dog ate something it wasn't supposed to, and it said, give it peroxide. I ended up calling poison control and paying $95 for the exact same information AI gave me. Not to say that I should have trusted AI because your dog's life is probably worth
Yeah.
spending the $95 on.
Now this is already medication that you're talking about, but what I was
Yeah,
talking about was
yeah.
a discovery of drug where you
Oh,
have
yeah.
millions of trials
Oh,
that
yeah.
you would have not been able to do in such a short amount of time, and they were able to do that. So that's another thing that you have. So we were going to talk about quality, but here we are with AI,
But
so
it's okay because it's blending
that's all
in
right.
because the manual. And
Yeah.
when you go to AI, you got to figure out where we're going to be, like fully autonomous intelligence or
Yeah.
general AGI is the one that's the singularity, right? Where we're getting to
Hmm.
the computers can do the thinking that's beyond human intelligence. Will it be creative? That's what you're talking about, though. I don't know. Will it do everything you
Hmm.
need it to do? There's no system that exists. They're thinking like the book basically says if you want to be a plumber, you just wear glasses and you can be a plumber or electrician or whatever. It'll be if it's not implanted in your head. Really, they're saying you could wear glasses
Yeah.
that will 360 will look at the room around you and tell you what to do. Maybe for calibration, it could tell you alignment and everything else. But
Hmm.
going into this with AI and quality systems, you can create GPTs, general, where you load documentation, and that is a copyright debate. But if it's a large language model and you have fair use rights, um, this is where I don't know the law. But if it's just for me, why can't I load the standard in and do some other things and say, hey, I don't know this verbatim, but give me all the examples of, let's say, where decision rules are mentioned, because we've talked about those for a while. And AI do a pretty good job on scanning those documents and telling you exactly
Yeah.
what's in everything.
So with change comes, things like issues like copyright laws
Hmm.
and so on. And if you're using it for your personal use, I would think that it would not apply. The current laws would not apply. So you would have to modify those laws as well as you go, because I don't know, the information you feed into it goes into this big public domain also.
Depending if you have private or there's a lot of stuff
Yeah.
there that
uh,
it's in any case, and you don't want customers information to go in there too.
yes.
I mean, they're trusting you with their stuff. So there's a debate on
The
the certificates.
confidentiality issues.
Yeah, and there's a debate on if there's certificates or the data you pull in there. So this is where when we were talking about the silos and warehouses, and then we can go back to quality. But if your data stored in such a place where you can analyze trends, you could strip the customer information out of it and just get the history of something. But beyond that, it's a tool. And if we go back to quality and bring that function back, it's for anybody that's in quality, Dilip, right? It's their tool belt,
Yeah.
right? Any organization, any person, how many tools do you have in your tool belt?
Yeah.
If you don't have the right tool, what do? Most people, this is where we get into trouble with quality, right?
Yeah.
When you
So
actually need what do you need, Dilip? When you need a drill and all you have is a hammer and a screwdriver, you make the hole with that.
you could, but that would be a tough thing to do, right? And as metrologists, quality professionals, we have a limited set of skills, but the world is getting, more complicated. So before, when you were a calibration technician, those skills were fine, but now you have to know about quality systems. You need to understand and read the procedures. As instrumentation gets complicated, the quality calibration procedures get complicated. Interpretation of reading those procedures is difficult. And this is where the AI tools can help us understand a lot of those things in there. And, we started out the podcast by saying, okay, do we want to do it in English
Yeah.
or other languages? So here's where I think uh, the world is getting smaller as we, talk about the what used to be, isolated in one geographical area is not the same. So AI would be able to translate a lot of those things. And I've got a set of Google, Pixel buds that will actually translate the language that I hear, a different language, and
Hmm.
so those things are important. I wanted to I always like to go back in the history part of it, and when there's a big change like this, because this is a disruptive technology.
Oh, for
And
sure. It's
so,
already impacting some hiring and
so in 1970, this guy, Alvin, and his wife, Heidi Toffler, wrote this book called Future Shock. I don't know how many of you heard of Future Shock.
I have not.
That was a great book. Back then, we were just coming into 1970, automation, calculators, computers, just coming into place. And he talks about those things. But he says a psychological state affecting both individuals and societies characterized by too much change in too short a period of time. I think we need somebody like Alvin Toffler to write Future Shock 2 as it relates to AI in that respect. So
Yeah, because it's
uh,
fast. I mean,
it is, yeah, it's coming. It's coming much, much faster because 1970s, we didn't have, not everybody had a computer at their desk.
no,
That didn't happen until like 1990s. Started in the 1980s, mainly after 1985 up to 1990s when computers started appearing. So the change with the availability of computers and the internet, we have all this information coming to us at the speed of light, pretty much, and to absorb all that. So there's too much change in too short a period of time. That's a lot of things to absorb in your head because at the end of the day, you're taking all this AI information, processing in your head, and implementing it. So that's the other thing. So the other thing, Einstein said in his deathbed in German, because that was his mother tongue, and uh, translated, it said, "I am at the mercy of fate and have no control over it." So
hmm,
I want to like paraphrase it and say, "I'm at the mercy of AI and have no control over it." And that's what we have to deal with it because right now we have no control over it
it's
until
gonna
we
happen.
we kind of reel it in and make it manageable.
Well,
So
and
that
then if you want to get really scary, talk about quantum computing.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, this is a
uh,
whole nother race to see who can develop the first, if they can develop the first quantum computer.
yeah.
It's probably gonna happen.
So here's some positive outlook from AI. Okay,
Ha.
economic growth, definitely a lot of opportunities for doing things faster,
Mhm.
being more productive, and so on. And with that, you have enhanced productivity uh, and revolutionize industries. Always on economy. We live in a 24/7 world, but this is gonna even make the always on economy even faster, better for all whatever it is. And
You hope, but that basically means at 2 a.m. you're not going to talk to the football commercials. You're probably going to talk to an AI agent that best
yes,
replicates
yeah,
yourself, and AI Dilip might exist someday if Dilip decides to make a
that's
avatar
right.
and
Yeah, yeah, those avatars would be more smarter, than you as a biological being would be. Uh, you know,
SMRT smart.
yeah. So then AI could be used as a collaborative partner, just like, I could have a AI version avatar of myself or with others. So those are the kind of things. But there's other things. Job displacement. These big tech companies are already laying off
Yep.
a lot of workers because of AI is replacing them. And we just talked about regulation and data privacy. Now, there's good thing about it. There's bad things about it. Data privacy. We talked about the confidentiality of customers' data.
Right.
That could be a thing that you would have to worry about.
You
The other
definitely
thing,
do. And
yeah,
yeah, government contracts specify those. There's CMMC compliance. There's a
yeah,
lot of different things in there. So, um, yeah, go ahead, Dilip. I want
yeah. So you have autonomous systems as well.
to.
Things are going to start making independent decisions with limited human oversight and control. Now, that could be good, that could be bad, depending on how well the AI understands our needs.
Well, okay, so in the calibration world, you could
Yeah.
compare the data, assuming you have it contained and you're not sharing information. You could have pretty much a accept and reject based on
Hmm.
certain conditions with built-in risk, where the AI measurements, AI is going to measure it the same way every time.
Yeah.
Look, the repeatability and reproducibility, another piece of quality and a large
Hmm.
contributor to uncertainty for most people's processes. AI is like systems. Like we have automation of the cow, can do better than I can. If Dilip and I are stacked
Hmm.
against each other, the automation system's going to repeat better than we are.
Yeah.
It's like it's just coming. My business coach and everybody always says for companies, what's the most important thing you can do is basically one of the things is look into automation, automating anything that can be automated because it helps future proof.
Yeah. And the other thing is like, uh, it's going to collect the sort of a population data
Yep.
of all those, that one calibration. So if you have a 5,000 pound load cell,
Mm,
model XYZ, and you're calibrating this one single artifact, and it's going to know the history of all the possible model XYZ
yep.
500-pound force load cells.
Hmm.
And then it's going to give us better reliability and better risk models
Yep. You
based
can
on
predict it.
that.
You can
So,
bootstrap your drift and all the other stuff. You
yes,
predict it rather
yeah,
well based on the population. You probably set your cal dates,
yeah,
all kinds of really cool stuff on the quality side of things. Of course,
yeah,
there's assumptions there too, Dilip, that they're being stored properly, used properly.
yeah.
Um,
And that's where that confidentiality of data, not only the confidentiality, but the authenticity of the data as well.
Right. Well, that's one of the bigger problems that people push. Like people manufacture
Yeah,
stuff. So, I mean, I was just reading about medical papers and people pushing all kinds of garbage that's AI
yes,
created studies that aren't real. Um, but yeah, I mean, you're still going to have your snake oil salespeople, for lack of a better word, or your
yeah,
ADX2, if you want to go watch the NIST movie on this battery acid,
yeah,
the battery additive.
yeah. That was what was it? That was back in the 40s or 50s, right?
I think
Yeah,
50s. But let me look at yeah, the NIST ADX2 controversy is what it was called, and early 50s.
yeah,
So marketed in the late 40s and early 50s. And the NBS, National Bureau of Standards, basically said it was declared ineffective. And this
mhm,
guy had some congressman friend and ended up getting the NIST director fired over this whole thing.
yeah,
You gotta anybody that wants to see it, it's ADX2 controversy. They did a really cool short movie. I think it's like 25 minutes. Through NIST. It's free. You can go to YouTube and get it.
yeah,
It's a lot of good stuff in the documentation about sampling processes, stuff that Dilip teaches in there, and how they did blind studies. And it's what Nis said was it was truly that this was an ineffective
additive.
additive. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where the authenticity of data is important in that way. So uh, the other thing with AI is it's going to be able to handle complex tasks
Oh yeah.
and complexity of the calculations that we're going to encounter in complex measurement systems. And I mean, we look at some calibrations that are pretty complex, RF microwave calibrations, where we go through a whole kind of, different frequency responses and so on, which are tough to do. And hopefully AI will help us get and rein in the quality of that data.
Think about
And
Yeah, think about that. Think about R&D. Like how much time you spend on stuff. If you can get your
yeah,
data organized, it might help you get there faster by saying, here's what's impacting your measurement. Or uh, one of my least favorite topics is sensitivity coefficients, but it might be able to
yeah, yeah,
really
and
use
that's
it and
where
tell you where you have issues in your system.
so yeah, it's kind of interesting because I grew up, using logarithmic tables and slide rules,
No
and then
abacus? Come on,
no
you've used an app.
abacus.
No abacus?
I
Oh.
wish I knew how to use it
Oh,
because
my kids had an abacus, so I'm saying that, and even though I'm joking, we actually had one. We learned to use them when we were in
yeah, but
school.
I've seen some videos of I think it's the Japanese
Oh my,
who
yeah,
use
not
it to
like
do
that.
complex
Not like
calculations.
them.
So,
Not like them. No,
and
it
I
was
would
not like them.
love to like just learn it just for
Oh
one of
yeah,
those fun things to do. Like, hey, I can do calculations with an abacus. Uh,
teach your grandson. That's yeah, that's
yeah, that's something
abacus time.
that I'll have to go do some research on it then. That's a good idea.
It's fun. I mean, you're
Yeah,
still thinking, you're still doing all the stuff. It's just, yeah, the people that they can
yeah,
do it. We didn't use it in that way. You can,
yeah.
very, yeah.
So, going back to sensitivity coefficients and stuff like that. Back then, you had to manually know, your calculus and
Mm,
integral calculus and stuff like that. And then computers like started doing it for us.
derivatives, which are not fun.
And, the AI is gonna do that for you, where you're just basically gonna give an order to your, whatever AI you're using, and they're gonna come up with that. There's still things that you have to validate that. So validation is still important. So, people struggle with validation in quality, and there's all kind of validation things.
It is
At the
difficult.
yeah, at the quality, not the quality, but the NCSLI conference, Walter Novosin from IndySelf had a really good presentation on, he deals a lot of with FDA related issues, and but he had some good references on validation on the AI, and there were some really good references. I actually took some snapshots of those references just for validation.
There's a
So
lot in
yeah,
validation. I
so
always feel people can be better at it, us included, and that's just because you can go to I've seen Georgia Harris's presentations on it, Dilip, and
mhm,
I mean, these are just nth degree. We've had new pick come out where it's like, yeah, validate against the freaking Windows update. It's like,
yeah,
no, it's risk. What is risk appropriate? And I'm not talking Windows 10 to 11. I'm talking about the security patches that you get once
yeah,
a week. Yeah, so
yeah. So right now people struggle with validation. I think that struggle is gonna get even 100 times more
Somewhat.
uh,
I mean,
to
AI
somewhat
though, if you think
because
about it, go ahead. Yeah.
AI right now you can't trust AI,
No.
so that validation is going to be an issue on your whatever you're trying to do with AI to make sure it serves its intended purpose. Now, somewhere down, things are going to get better because AI is going to reach that singularity.
And it'll
And,
debug. It'll be able
and
to debug
yes,
for
yeah,
you, and then you'll get somewhere with
yeah,
validation. Because look, we put out automated equipment, and so,
yeah,
so real quick, load cells going negative, we're throwing like so I have a load cell generally output if my zero if I would remove the force and it would go negative for like a second, our automation was throwing an error. Like, because
hmm
you're not, if you're going in one direction, you're not supposed to go the other, but it would just happen for like half a second. And it was reproducible and we fixed the bug, but that was a bug that waited 6 to 7 months before somebody actually found it,
yeah,
and once they found it, we could replicate it. But again, you don't test every single scenario when
yeah,
you try to get 80, 90% of things. You've seen it when people launch these products. They're
hmm
I mean, I'm Apple beta testing now, and I can tell you there's some stuff in there that needs fixed, and
yeah,
this is right before prime time. So anyway, there's what I want to get at is AI could spew algorithms. You could tell it to break something. And I think
yeah,
in the future, it will throw every combination it can mathematically think that
yeah.
either one of us would think about.
So, from the metrology perspective, validation, and I'm thinking about two areas. The Monte Carlo simulation
Yep.
method for guide to uncertainty analysis. Uh, it's gonna be able to do, just like Henry was saying, all kind of scenarios.
Hmm.
And from the quality perspective, this design of experiment techniques that have been around for roughly a century, and those techniques kind of almost lined up with Monte Carlo simulation method. Those will be the great things. And earlier, when I was mentioning about invention of some new drugs using AI, which would have
Hmm.
taken a lot of time, that's what they were using on a limited basis. But they said, yeah, doing those trials and everything, it would have taken researchers 15, 20 years, and they were able to develop these specific drugs for within the 6 to 8 month time frame.
That's awesome.
And that is, the kind of great things that AI can do
Yeah. And
because
tailored therapy too is coming. Like if
yeah,
you get a disease or something that it can, what is it? T car cells. That's stuff I don't know much about, but yeah, they
yeah,
can genetically modify things for you individually.
yeah. There was this one Star Trek episode where they kind of introduced nanobots into your bloodstream to fix things wrong within your body. And I think AI could make those nanobots. They're already doing it to like fix, not with AI, but fix certain cancer cells to attack specific ones with some kind of, drug treatment, which leaves the healthy cells alone and just targets the cancerous cells.
Right.
But so those are the other things that can be used in AI. And again, it's the quality of data. The better the quality of data you feed AI, the quality of information,
Yep.
the better the outcome. And then AI is also going to, generate its own better algorithms to process that data to give you the right results in there.
Which is cool now because you can send, and I've done it with our own NIST reports and
Yeah.
our standard, and I've said like run tests, do predictive analysis. I've done it even with, we were talking bootstrapping, which Greg Senker introduced me to, but
Mhm.
I ran all the cal data and I didn't run my recent cal that we just got by NIST, and I said to put it in AI, I said, predict it. Give me an algorithm, predict it, give me the uncertainty, do everything. It said, this will drift within 20 parts per million, blah, 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 confidence level 95%. This is what your values, min, max are going to be. And it was pretty darn close to what the values that NIST got.
Mhm.
Again, it wasn't within 20 parts per million. It was more like 30 or 40, if I remember it correctly, but
Mhm.
it was close. But that, I mean, the error was like one
Yeah.
and a half to two times. That could mean incorrect decision and things. So you still, it'll get better.
Yeah.
So
And that predictive, the reliability of the predictive of whatever, outcome it gives you is going to get better and better.
yeah, oh, yeah,
It's like weather prediction. You think about weather prediction, and just 50 years ago, you look about what we get for weather forecasts and what we get now. I mean, I have this Weather Channel app in my, smartphone. It basically tells me what the weather is going to be 15 days from now. I mean, that is something you couldn't have done just
no.
50 years from now.
So
Yeah,
the predictability might not be the greatest on the 10-day forecast, right?
yeah, but you kind of get an idea.
Yeah, you
So,
can know if storms are moving in and all
yeah,
that.
because we got satellites that have a global view of cloud patterns,
Yeah,
so how they're moving and so on. And so, just kind of using that analogy and say whether as unpredictable as it is, we get that kind of good forecast. So we could like prepare for, a big snowstorm or a hurricane moving and have different models. But for other things in the calibration metrology, well, we have things better that we could predict because our data is more predictive than the weather patterns that
yeah.
we would have.
We
So
have a good theory of what it should be.
yeah.
So it is pretty wild. So before we get to the your favorite topic of tribbles, you remember the tribbles?
The
You
trouble with
mentioned
tribbles, yeah.
trouble with tribbles. That's Star Trek
Yeah.
nerdiness. I drew Dilip as I on Chat GPT and AI. The best use of AI was me loading in Dilip's picture and saying make him a Star Trek character, give him three phones, a phaser, and a red shirt, and I sent it to him and he laughed. So
Yeah, I think the red shirt was like my impending demise. I guess that's what he was trying to convey.
no, I was
If
trying to make
everybody
you
knows the
laugh.
red shirt joke about Star Trek, right? Hopefully, everybody
Yeah,
that
they should
listens to
know.
the podcast should know
Yeah.
the
If
the
you've watched Star
implication of
Trek,
having
yeah,
a red
red
shirt.
shirt.
Even though Scotty wore a red shirt, sometimes.
Sometimes Scotty
Yeah,
did, yeah, but
so
they never hardly sent him out. It was
that's true.
always
Yeah,
it was always the unknown actor or actress that got the red shirt and they would
yeah.
get killed. Kirk, Bones, never,
Yeah, so
O'Hara,
you
never,
knew when you
Sulu,
were
never, yeah.
watching the episode, like, oh, there's a red-shirted guy or gal, and
They're gonna die.
yeah,
Yeah, pretty much on all of it. Till you got to Next Generation, then they
yeah.
yeah, but yeah, on the original series. Though, yeah, so for the non-Star Trek people here, for quality, like good things. You were talking about AI. You can use AI. It's a tool in your tool belt. Other tools are what? Going to conferences, networking, just learning as much as possible because there's a lot of stuff out there in the as far as metrology goes. Some
So
people, yeah,
so one of the very, very basic things that I have a pet peeve about when I'm looking at uncertainty budgets, okay? People state the units, the mix and match units,
all the time.
and the worst, even if the mix and not match units, the magnitude of units, meaning you'll have some units in like millivolt, volt.
Yep.
Now your Excel, where most of the times we do uncertainty analysis, doesn't know the difference between if you put 100 and put a label millivolt,
No
that's
idea.
100 e to the minus 3. And just today, I was having a discussion with one of the clients this morning, and same thing. The units, they make a big difference.
It's huge.
Uh,
Like I tell the story when I woke up at 2 a.m. I was helping someone with their uncertainty budget for force. I'm like, this isn't right.
yeah.
And I couldn't figure it out. And then I woke up at 2 a.m. and my wife's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I just figured it out. I got to go in the other room." And sure enough, it
And
was
so things
units.
like that, like hopefully, the most immediate use is you could train AI to say, okay, if this is 100, but it's 100 millivolts,
Yep.
and then the next item is 1, which is 1 volt.
Hmm.
Hopefully, AI would be able to make that differentiation.
It
So
can.
and it's going to be, pass or fail or life or death scenario, right? Because somewhere down that result is going to be reported for whatever mission critical application that artifact is being used in there. So that's the other thing about the quality of data and AI and how we can process that.
Yeah, and if you're
Or
designing something and you accidentally put the wrong
yeah,
voltage in, it's I like your saying with you can't put the smoke back into the fuse.
yeah,
So,
yeah, and it's like that Swedish ship that built
oh, Vasa
Lhasa. That
with Amsterdam feet and Swedish feet. One was 11 inches and one was 12
yeah,
inches, and it was built asymmetrically and sank. Yeah.
yeah, sank on his maiden voyage, and
Yeah.
so we have many
North
different.
Korea just did that recently. They talk about recreating history, but it wasn't asymmetrical and it's not the
Yeah,
same.
that
But
was just a design, bad design, I guess. But the that NASA Mars probe
oh yeah, yep,
software was written for metric units, and somebody input, imperial units or vice versa.
yep.
So those are the kind of things, and that's all about quality of data and
It
the
happens.
right data input.
So have you seen the movie Spinal Tap? Is that one that you've seen? You remember that with the band, the fake band, the mockumentary,
I
1980s. Amp goes to 11. Anyway, the story on this is they have Stonehenge and they draw it up and the person puts the quote double quotes and they want it instead of I think it's 16 instead of 16 feet he puts instead of one singular quotation he puts the double quotes and it's inches so they have these little people dancing around this thing and then when it comes down it's 16 inches and it doesn't look big and massive like it's supposed to but the true story of this was English to metric where they drew it up and they wanted this to be 15 feet and instead of feet, they read the print as 15 meters, and it was for Black Sabbath, supposedly. And so they got this big 45-foot, and they couldn't take it on tour. It was just too big to fit in a bus. It was too big to fit anywhere else. But Spinal Tap made it funny when they
Ah,
redid it. But it happens. And like you said, I mean, Black Sabbath touring that they couldn't get their big monument in the tour bus. That's not critical. But the Mars rover or some life-saving other
yeah,
things, Mars rover that was a lot of money for that
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
for that
It
little
wasn't the
mishap.
rover. It was a probe.
Oh, the probe. What
Yeah,
wouldn't?
yeah. The other uh, NASA was probably the most successful at the Mars rovers. I think they landed all the rovers with success, but there was a British Mars rover that failed.
Oh,
and there was another country that tried, and we never know the story behind that, the investigation, what happened. But as I always say, this rocket science stuff is complicated.
it is. And it was
Yeah,
Mars probe, $327 million for the Mars Climate Orbiter, 1999. And the full mistake was NASA's navigation team used metric units, Newton seconds, for the trajectory calculations, where Lockheed used the imperial units, pound seconds.
yeah. So just little things like that. It's communication, but hopefully those are the kind of things we need to train AI to catch, because I think we as human beings are gonna keep making those mistakes
Oh, and they put
inadvertently and so on. So
without a doubt. There's a book by Joe Kenneman
yeah,
called Noise, one of my favorite books, but it talks about things where AI can help us as far as the just subjectivity and like if the a judge is if you're up for parole, hopefully who cares if Dilip, when you're ever up for parole, you want to get if the judge's favorite college team lost on Saturday, which may be Ohio State, your favorite team as well, guess what? If they lose, you're less likely to be paroled than if you win. And they took all this statistical data and threw it in, and the stuff was just insanely unfair to everybody. And that's
yeah,
where you're hoping that you can, level out all of this stuff because there's no reason because Ohio State lost, someone shouldn't get paroled that should would otherwise get if Ohio State won. That makes no sense. Medical things at the end, if your scan's read at the end of the day, guess what? The person reading them's tired,
yeah,
right? They might have a blip. This is where, I mean, right now, my one friend's a doctor, and AI is just creating more work for him because it's flagging more stuff than it's not quite there yet, he says,
yeah,
on reading the scans. But again, it's not a crutch too, and that's my worry is that if somebody just gets lazy, the pitfalls. And I know with me is I think a lot less now that I use AI a lot more. I'm like, oh, let me just put this in. I don't want to rewrite. I don't want to rewrite this or edit it. Let me just put it in AI and see what the suggestions are. And I do that a lot. And sometimes it helps you quite a bit, and other times you're still doing the work, but you know what I mean. It's kind of
yeah,
I used to have to rewrite it myself, and it would take 4 or 5 times longer.
and that's where I have the fear, because when I use AI, I am more about validating it now because I still don't trust it.
Oh, it always messes up for me, but that's
Yeah. So
but it won't mess up if you rewrite something
yeah,
typically.
but my fear is like I just do that because even when the calculators came out, I would like validate when I press in and say
Yeah.
I want to manually calculate it and see if I get the same answer. And yeah, there were some errors every now and then, and because I am fascinated by growing up with calculators, I collect all that historical data and how the algorithms are written. For my favorite calculators was the Hewlett Packard calculators with the reverse Polish notation. And those
Oh,
of you that don't know what reverse Polish notation is, it was a calculator with no equal sign on the keyboard. You had an enter key, and
oh, yeah. There's some of the accounting ones I've had that I just hated. Like it
yeah,
didn't add
and
in sequence.
yeah, so you had to once you get to know those the reverse Polish notation calculators,
Mhm.
they were great. You could do much faster calculations, and so I kind of take that stance. Like what I get from AI, I'm still going to validate it, but somewhere down, I'm going to start trusting it. But right now, there's a lot of folks that are just taking it for granted and say, I got it from AI, so it's okay.
Oh, you
It's just
can't do
like,
that.
back, and people still say, I read it on the internet, so it must be true, kind of thing.
It's
So,
not. I mean, Hulk Hogan's not still alive. No. No.
yeah,
The
so,
where I wanted to interrupt. You know where AI is good there though, because I'm not a doctor, right?
yeah,
And if I get a scan and it's going to take a while for the doctor to get back, and it starts saying these terms like unremarkable and all this, which actually good things. I'm like, what the hell? I'm unremarkable. What is this? But when you first see it,
yeah,
if you dump it into AI, it'll dumb it down for you pretty darn
yeah,
well. That'll say like, look, you're blah blah blah, your blood work is this, you're within normal, or did you eat anything that could have given the higher level? Oh yeah, I took a Pepsid. That's got to explain this or that, and yeah, but yeah,
yeah, and that's really good in the sense because if you have some kind of medical issue, try getting an appointment from a doctor, and for you it's an emergency because it's an issue,
yeah,
but you're not gonna get to see a medical professional right away, same day, next day. It may be 2 weeks from now, and so on. And I think having AI as a bridge until you get that, or maybe you won't need to see your physician.
yeah. Not a substitute. Well, maybe not. I mean, if you have like, oh, is this a
Yeah,
skin cancer, and it looks like a bug bite, and you're like, oh yeah, I got bit by a bug. Yeah, then you don't need to go see. Depending how much of a
yeah,
hypochondriac you are. But there are some things where you still have to go to the doctor. But yeah,
yeah,
no, it is a bridge. It can certainly help. I like when I put in, so I've done this. I have medications. You can put like when the peak time to take them are, and it'll pull some pretty darn good stuff. If you're taking multiple meds, when like if one what may counteract one another. I take cholesterol medication, and I take CoQ10, and CoQ10 helps with the stiffness, and it'll give you like, what else could I take that might help with people on statins gets really stiff. So I mean, there are some things there, but you can
yeah,
put it all in. And
and yeah, and I take several different medications, and it took me, even now, I'm not sure like what time to take what medication, even though I've figured it out. And yeah, those things, it's gonna make a decision, and it's gonna tell you that this is the, right combination at what time to take
yep,
of different medications you're taking. And yeah, going back to calibration, one of the big things we have is calibration interval. You
yep.
know, I think AI is really going to help with that.
That's tough
Uh,
because it doesn't. You're right. And our favorite topic is trend analysis, right?
yeah,
Because that really helps set your intervals. Even if you have history, you still have risk. Right. I could have 20 years of history, but if I'm not monitoring in between checks or when I'm sending stuff out or have some frequency level that I've determined,
yeah,
I have risk if all of a sudden I get an out of tolerance. And just been burnt too many times with things that do not matter as much. So for us, Force Lab, we've had temperature probes come out of tolerance. Now we're claiming zero point 0.2 to plus or minus zero point 0.2 degrees. Tolerance is 0.05. So we're claiming 4 times worse than tolerance on these. In any case, a lot of times the out of tolerances has still been within what we claim, though when we compare them now against each other, and they're all in, and then a lab says one of them's out, that makes no sense. So, and that happens. Look, people, regardless, there are people out there that just they erase a meter by mistake. They do other stuff. Hey, we're all prone to it.
yeah,
One of our techs hit 10,000 instead of 1,000, killed a customer's load cell, but it happens. You admit
yeah,
it, you move on, and but yeah, it's having those sanity checks. If I'm comparing all my meters with one another, where you're going, Dilip, AI can predict it. It could say, hey, you could wait 2 years. But if I don't have sanity checks in between and all of a sudden someone dropped it, how do I know if it went out? I mean,
yeah,
AI will give you the probability and whatnot.
yeah.
But
So, you said, yeah, somebody hit 10,000 versus 1,000, one
Hmm.
extra digit. And so safety could, and that kind of reminds me of this Air India crash
Yep,
that
Lawrence.
happened and the fuel cutoff switch. Now, we don't know exactly what happened, and there's still an investigation. But it got me to thinking that, yeah, they have those fuel cutoff switches right by the thrusters,
But you have to
and
lift up on it.
and you
Yeah.
have to lift up on that. But I said, okay, so even if somebody intentionally did it, or you don't know the cause, I said, would there be AI in the software that would be enabled to say, hey, you can't do that at this stage because it's critical, you're taking off, and so on. So it would take care of whatever human error, intentional or unintentional it may be. So safety wise, so if you punch in 10,000 versus you wanted 1,000 pound force, it would like pause and say, do you really want to do that kind of thing?
Yep. And it's crazy because right now they're investigating the black box, and it says the one
Yeah,
pilot asked, "Why did you cut off the fuel?" And the other pilot says, "I didn't." And then they switch them. Apparently, they switch them back on. So
yeah,
maybe, yeah, maybe they weren't put in the full position. You know what I mean? I don't
yeah,
know. I don't know enough about the
yeah.
operation, so we'll
And we may
see.
never know because,
Yeah.
it's like, and there's a lot of chatter about like, you know, I call it Monday morning quarterbacks that, making all kind of assumptions, but you may never know. But when you have that kind of thing, and I would say, okay, there's an opportunity for how can you prevent that? And hopefully AI would be used for that kind of, intelligence that it
Yep.
happened, whether it
Well,
happened
yeah.
intentionally or unintentionally.
Or the
And
bulletin.
yeah,
Here's another thing, right? Like we didn't talk about the tiles on the space shuttle, but that's people write. There's a Words That Work book on it, and they don't say what people need to hear. And meaning that there's FAA issued a bulletin on these fuel cutoff switches, right? I'm looking it
yeah,
up right now. In 2018, they issued a bulletin. And then they're saying now that maybe this Boeing didn't have the right um, switches. There could have been accidental activation. We don't know. We have no
yeah,
idea. What I'm saying though, and what I think you're saying with AI is this stuff you could put in the model fleet of all your planes, the years, and when they come out with this, you could probably cross search it and identify all the safety hazards, all the recalls,
yeah,
all the things that someone should look at without having a heap relying on a person to run through the heaps of data and everything else
yeah,
and maybe catch it. Um, and that's where life becomes a lot simpler, especially just any quality tool, because you can do it
yeah,
so fast, right? And I mean, if I'm Air India and I have X number of planes, maybe I don't know.
yeah. And that's the thing that certain things machines can do a lot faster, more efficient than anything. I mean, you think about, going back to industrial revolution, early, 20th century, when, automation, machining things and things, you had craftsman machinists.
Yep.
Then in 60s, you got CNC numerical control, and that made
G
things
code and yep. If
faster.
you were really a good coder, you
Yeah,
could look at that.
instead of relying on the skill of the machinist to make consistent part, like you could dial those things in,
Oh yeah.
and
And
the
you speeds and
computer
feeds
numeric
and
control, the CNC would churn out repeatable parts within the specifications. And now you have additive, manufacturing with the 3D printers
fun stuff.
and those kind of things. Yeah, we talk about additive printers. We have to give a shout out to our colleague Patrick Jester,
Oh yeah, for
who
made us lightsabers at
made us
NCSLI.
lightsabers. So we're all Jedi's with
Yep.
lightsabers.
Yep, and his book, Pillars of Command, if people want to check it out, it's a very good, if you're in quality specifically, or management, it's a very short read, and I say that, I want to say it's a great read, and it is a great read. But if you're just stepping into management or one of those positions, it's like an hour read, and it's so packed with such good information in there for anybody that,
Yeah,
giving a little plug to Patrick on that.
yeah,
One of my other favorite books, 1 Minute Manager, is a 60-minute read, and if you use it all the time, it'll change your organization. So, really good stuff with Patrick and Pillars of Command there. So, Dilip, that wraps it for us. You want to have any closing thoughts?
no, it
So,
was a great general discussion, and even though we're talking about quality, you can see how AI kind of crept in,
oh yeah,
which is the buzzword of today in any industry you can think up of. So I'm glad we had that chat, and I hope the viewers, get some kind of thinking from
good.
this,
Yep.
and looking forward to your feedback and comments.
And all I have to say about it is if you're not using AI now, just go download one of the free trials and start playing with it a little bit and
Yeah,
seeing what you can do. Learn to do some prompts and learn to do some other things with it.
uh,
Like I said, it can be a very useful tool when used properly.
yeah.
So, well, thank you all for that. Thank you, Dilip, as always.
Thank you.